Good morning, and thank you all for joining us. On July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania, and then again on September 15th in West Palm Beach, Florida, President-elect Trump was the subject of two separate assassination attempts. After much investigation, we found no any evidence or testimony suggesting that any Secret Service in proximity to President Trump at the rally, who might have been in a position to get him off the stage, knew that there was a suspicious or armed person on a rooftop until after shots were fired. In the course of our investigation, some interviews with Secret Service personnel included expressions of regret, while others took defiant stances blaming colleagues for their failures.
July 13th was a failure of the Secret Service to adequately secure the Butler Farm Show site and protect President-elect Trump. That abject failure underscored critical gaps in Secret Service operations, and I recognize that we did not meet the expectations of the American public, Congress, and our protectees. And they rightly have that idea based on how we performed. President-elect Trump was wounded. A cowardly and despicable act killed one person and critically injured two others. But the men and women of the Secret Service must be perfect every time. That may not be fair, but that's the world in which we operate in. Thankfully, Congress has responded to the immediate challenges facing the Secret Service, and for that we are grateful. Our agency is not defined by one failure, but by our ability to learn from mistakes, to hold ourselves accountable, then learn, evolve, and continue striving for excellence. After the failure of July 13th, the dedicated men and women of the Secret Service rose to the occasion.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you and our ranking member, Crow, for having these important. When you think about the Secret Service, you're talking about the elite, the best of the best. We've all watched those movies on TV. Secret Service agents take bullets for candidates. You're kind of the guardians of democracy. You make sure that it's the voters and not an assassin's bullet that determine the outcome of elections in this country. And yet we hear that agents are demoralized, overworked, exhausted. 2022, 2023, largest turnover in decades in the Secret Service. And today, 60% of your agents have less than 10 years experience. 30% of your agents have less than 5 years experience. You got a short runway here to get up and running. How can we make Secret Service officers proud again? Get their morale up again. All of us have heard about those crazy parties in Colombia and other places that are really not deserving of a Secret Service reputation. How do we turn that ship around, sir?
We actually have really turned the tide on our hiring. I will tell you, our applications are up. The one thing that...
I want to say that's not only your problem, because we've stepped up, given you $231 million in the latest CR. So what else can we do? How can we fix this?
Yeah, we've increased our net, and we've been able to hang on to our veteran agents. Part of that is by giving them a retention incentive, which we just rolled out now. We're able
to... When you say hold on to them, is that because people are, you got retirements coming up, or is it people just want to leave the agency?
I think part of it is the workload, right? And I think what will alleviate that workload is bringing more in.
Okay.
So right now, we have about 500 agents in various states of training between now and March. We are going to onboard another 400 by June, and we're going to onboard 200 uniform division officers by June. We're also going after with a targeted recruitment. We're trying to get people from the military, from law enforcement, with specialized skills, special operations experience, and bringing them in, and then having them join the ranks of our special operations division.
The record at this time?
Certainly.
First one, an exodus of agents left the Secret Service unprepared, New York Times. Second one, more high-ranking officials in Secret Service stepping down.
When I reported to the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment commander to be their doctor, right? At that point in my life, I was 38 years old. I had graduated from West Point Ranger School, commanded in the 82nd Airborne Division, an infantry company. I had a master's in systems information. I had a medical degree, top of my med school class, and I wondered if I was good enough to be on that team. That's what I'm talking about. Elite culture where everybody comes to work every friggin' day saying, I will do everything I can to make sure I don't fail. And I'll tell you, going to war, I didn't give a shit if I died. What I didn't want to do was fail. But your guys showed up that day and didn't give a shit. There was apathy and complacency, period. And that's your mission now. I appreciate all the systems and the technology that everybody else has asked about. But this is a leadership issue. This is a command climate issue, a culture issue. Can you make a few comments about what you're doing to fix the command climate at the Secret Service?
Yes, sir. So we are reorganizing and reimagining this organization. We need to hit people and identify leaders earlier on, besides just saying, well, they've been here for 18 years, let's make them a GS-15.
Good.
That's what we have to get to.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you very much for your leadership as well, Ranking Member Crow.
We had a former president of the United States who is the leading candidate at that time to be the next president of the United States, and he will be now that we know. And he was being threatened by a foreign nefarious nation state because of actions he took while he was president of the United States. Very unique circumstances. So, being that you were aware of these unique circumstances, did President Trump, was he provided a security detail akin to what a sitting president would receive?
At that time, he was not.
He was not. Did you go the next day to Butler, Pennsylvania on the 14th of July?
I did not.
Okay. Did you go that week?
I did not.
Okay. The FBI held that site secure for 5 days as an active crime scene, and they released it back to the owners on the 18th, and you did not visit. And when did you finally visit the site?
I visited about a day after I was appointed.
So July 24th? Cheadle came in July 22nd. She got skewered and roasted by the Democrats and Republicans on the Oversight Committee, of which I sit on. She resigned the next day, and then only that day did you go.
I'll take your word for it, Congressman.
Why'd you wait 9 days? 11 days?
Why did I wait 9 days?
Yeah. Director of the FBI went to the site. Why didn't you go?
Congressman, I think I was appointed July 23rd, and I was there on the 24th or 25th.
But you were the second most senior member of the Secret Service. You could have gone.
And I was managing from here the crisis. We actually
so you didn't go.
dispatched.
Got it. Did you call the, you were managing the crisis you just said. Did you call the detail that night on July 13th that was protecting President Trump?
On that night, they were operational, sir.
You did not. Okay. Did you call him the next day?
No, I did not.
Okay. When did you finally talk to him?
I spoke to them when they arrived in Milwaukee.
So 4 days later, July 17th, does that sound about right?
Yes, sir.
We know that you have 8,000 employees. We know that they have a $3.1 billion budget, and you asked for $2 billion additional dollars. What sticks in our craw is when we report to our constituents, we have to say, hey, this federal agency failed epically, and then they wanted to almost double their budget. How much would it have cost to put somebody on that water tower? How much would it have cost to have drones that were actually functioning that day? How much would it have cost to have an ether cable to where your anti-drone technology would have worked? How much would it have cost to do a walkthrough with local law enforcement to secure the AGR site, or put cameras on that roof, or put agents on that roof, or have your snipers have iPads, or have one command post instead of two, or cordon off the damn AGR complex, 17 acres? That would have cost $2 billion, and in fact, with caution tape, signs, posts, and stakes, it would have run about $410 because we ran through it. Let's add another zero. Say it's $4 grand. It's not $2 billion.
I actually responded to Ground Zero. I was there going through the ashes of the World Trade Center. I was there at Fresh Kills.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you,
Congressman,
were you the special agent in charge?
To show respect
You were not.
for a Secret Service member that died on 9/11.
That you're trying to be.
Do not invoke 9/11 for political purposes.
Oh, I'm not. I'm invoking this.
You are, sir.
Gentlemen,
and you are out of line.
I would like to ask him a question.
Please.
You are out of line,
Congressman. Don't try to bully me. I am an elected member of Congress, and I'm asking you a serious question, and you are playing politics.
I am a public servant who has served this nation, and
you won't answer the question
on our day, on our country's darkest day.
Chairman,
Congressman?
How you doing?
Good, sir.
All right. So